We really want only the best for you. 14 minutes past 10. It's Jacaranda FM's Workzone. Oh, the music. There's so 'n pragtige inleiding, Will Young and Evergreen on the Workzone on Jacaranda FM. I made a promise to you and I'm going to stick to it. The 1st of October, the MANCOSA Jacaranda FM Business Breakfast is happening and we've invited you. And I've mentioned that our beautiful website, jacarandafm.com, has got the link for you to create access. We want your teams to come. I want all of our ladies to come. I want you to attend at the back of Women's Month, and we were chatting in August. I said to you, you know what, we owe it to ourselves to enrich and empower ourselves. And then the team did me a beautiful, they brought me a gift. They brought me a gift today, and my gift is in studio. She's sipping on her tea, looking gorgeous. Makeup on fleek. Professor, you look radiant.
Thank you.
You know, at our age, we can talk about our age.
I know. And I'm not sure if you're my age, though. You know, I'm counting down to 60.
I'm counting down to 50.
Okay, you see.
Yeah, I celebrated 45 this year. And I tell people, you know, because it's a thing. I told the women at Jacaranda FM and our listeners that for the next 2 months, my research is perimenopause and menopause. And then, you know, when you're in the middle of your research topic and then it happens to you.
It happens.
Yeah. Then you're like, oh, is that why the window of kindness for a moment was rolled down? You know, you're like, but we didn't bring you in here today to talk about women-related things, even though we know we stand for that. I think when you represent, whether it is at MANCOSA Business Breakfast, whether it is at Jacaranda FM, and even when I look at your beautiful, lucrative CV, the first thing I want to do is I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up for us so that we don't have to look outside of our own world for mentorship, for role models. You are a beautiful South African woman that can represent, and we want to just thank you for being in leadership positions so that we have someone that we can count on.
Thank you so much, Elana. And thanks to you for the work that you do. I've only seen you on stage, right? So I'm starstruck. Right? So
I'm starstruck, but I'm also motivated because you're a woman that stands in for education. 17 minutes past 10. If you're wondering who we're chatting to in our studio today, Prof. Mamokgethi Phakeng, businesswoman and former VC of UCT, is joining us in our studio. Also one of our speakers at MANCOSA Business Breakfast. What does it mean for you to be part of this lineup?
You know, what an honor. It's amazing to be part of this lineup and also be challenged to talk about legacy, because that's very important. It talks to being intentional about your life. It talks to making sure that you don't just wake up and get on with it as if you've got to realize that your life, day by day, you're creating a legacy. It doesn't have to be a burden, but it can be a joy to build a legacy. So I feel honored. I looked at the lineup of speakers and it made me feel special. And I've been sharing the poster on my WhatsApp channel and shared it on X this morning. So thank you to Jacaranda and MANCOSA for selecting me. I thought you could have selected so many other people. There were so many other women, men in this country who could have gotten the slot, and you got me. And I'm looking forward to sharing.
I can see why they chose you. I mean, our listeners, and we have the most beautiful listeners listening to Jacaranda FM. Oh, we believe in change. My reps on the road, my truck drivers. Oh, Prof, you must see them. They are the most No, you know, they show up for each other. Yeah. And when I look at you and how much you've done in education and supporting people, university level, the work that you've done at UCT, what does it mean to you to show up as a woman every day in legacy? You know, sometimes we think legacy is this big word. Yeah. But this morning I stood in legacy in my home for my little girls. You know, we were doing affirmations. Absolutely. Then I arrive at the office and I need to change my hat. Then I stand in legacy for my leadership. Absolutely. You know, and I see how they sometimes also just need my opinion and kindness. You know, what does it mean for you to stand in legacy as a woman in South Africa?
For me, it means living my purpose, understanding why am I here. And I've been very clear throughout my life that I'm here to give hope. And so the question for me every day is, how are you giving hope? And education has been an outlet for me to give hope. Of course, by the way, I also named the only child I gave birth to. His name is Hope. Tsholofelo. So I live hope, I give hope, and I give hope through education. And people say, but you're no longer at university and so on and so forth. I educate everywhere I am. Whether people want the education or not is their choice. Every Sunday, I do the Sunday sessions on my YouTube channel, and I teach people. I've been teaching about artificial intelligence. This is season 3, and I'm on episode number 7 on artificial intelligence. But it's because I believe firmly in education, and I believe that education, it's not about just going to school. School is a context that governments have created to make education be, to create a possibility for everyone to get access to education. But education happens everywhere. Even when I was at university, at UCT, I used to say to students, you learn everywhere. So you're on campus, but first of all, recognize who's around you. Students from over 100 countries. What richness do you need? You can talk to someone from a different country every day. And then what you have to realize is that you learn not only in the lecture halls, you learn in the tennis court, in the laboratory, on the picket line, everywhere in the residence. There's education happening. Everywhere. And I say there's a difference between a certificate and an education. When we go, what I talk about is education, not a certificate. A certificate is often just evidence that you've been there. But what's more important than the certificate is the education. What is it that you've got to show that in fact you've been there?
A lot of the time when I have an opportunity to speak, I tell people about who they say they are.
Yeah.
And I always talk about Jacaranda FM. If you just joined in, 21 minutes past 10. I always say, if you're not going to show up and tell people who you are, people will tell you who they
you
think.
are.
And anybody got to do that. Exactly. So we're going to stay with that. When we come back, I want to know who you say you are now, because a lot of the time we think of you as UCT and this amazing businesswoman. We think of you as the school principal, professor, school principal. So when we come back, I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about what exactly are you going to be presenting at the MANCOSA Business Breakfast. Also, let me tell you this. We asked our listeners who we think they are. And we're listening to them, and it's called Listen Up. And this is one of the songs that one of our listeners chose. Do you know who Lizzo is?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to teach you. Okay, so Prof, hold on.
Yeah.
Lizzo's still bad. Yeah. It's Jacaranda FM. Stay where you are. We're talking MANCOSA Business Breakfast. I can't complain. What did you sing?
This is the girl who they say plays the flute.
You're right. You see, I told you know who Lizzo is.
Wow.
On Jacaranda FM.
But you see, you're showing up my age, Elana. You see, when I said I'm approaching 60, what I meant really is in about 400 days, I'll be 60. Not in 5 years, not in 6 years, not in 3 years, in 400 days.
400 days.
So be kind, be soft, man. Like you're dealing with Magriza here.
Be kind to yourself also. If you're wondering who the voice is, 26 minutes past 10, Jacaranda FM. We are having fun with MANCOSA Business Breakfast. We're bringing in some of our speakers. And as we are owning our legacy for our theme this year, Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, businesswoman and former VC of UCT, is joining us. We talked about legacy, and we said, you know what? If we're going to build a legacy, we don't want other people to tell us who we are. It's so important to own your biography, to own your journey. So who are you today? Tell people.
Well, I'm a woman of power. I'm a disruptor. I'm a mother. I'm an educator. I'm a giver of hope. And I'm deputy mother to all the young people of this continent, not just South Africa, of this continent, because I'm a nurturer. I take on mothering even to many young people that I didn't give birth to. So that's more important to me. The fact that I've got doctorates and whatever is neither here or there.
You should say Professor CV. You?
And of course, I'm a businesswoman. And even in my role as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, I continue with my deputy mother role and my woman role. And it's visible in how I interact with women entrepreneurs who are struggling, who are trying to make it work, who make mistakes. Because in fact, it's human to make mistakes. And how do you take people from the depths of their mistakes to becoming something that they have dreamt about, that
they can be proud of.
That they can be proud of, and that in fact they can be. And that's the woman and mother that I am.
Is this also the core message that you want to share at MANCOSA Business Breakfast? Because this is a beautiful narrative. This is your story.
It is. I mean, and the issue is that it's easier for me to educate because I come to it as a mother. When I educate, I mean, even the way I lead as a mother. Of course, I'm strict. I've got no time for nonsense. That's what mothers do. You know, they discipline with love. They give you tough love. Okay, but they educate you. They hold your hand. They show you the way. And the message that I want to share at MANCOSA is the fact that, you know, we see schooling and going to university, whatever, as education. And that's just one, it's a context of education. I want to talk about what's at the core of education. Because even if you go to the building, the school, the university, the technicon, the college, you get out with different things. You can go to the same building, the same institution, register for the same course, graduate with the same degree or diploma or certificate, but you get out with different skills, different attitudes, different values, different ways of being, seeing, and doing. And that's because that's at the core of education. The context gives you an opportunity to learn, and you choose what to take. And some people say, well, but you all went to the same university. Well, there's some things that are the same, but there's a whole lot more. My view is that 60% of it is what you make, what each one of us will take from the context of education. And so I want us to unpack education, you know, and understand it as being beyond just the certificate.
And the classroom.
And beyond the classroom.
Sure. Yeah. Professor Phakeng, we cannot wait to hear from you a beautiful message at our MANCOSA Jacaranda FM Business Breakfast, and our guest here on the Workzone on Jacaranda FM today. There's a message for women and we want to share it with you, so stay with us on the Workzone. 10:30 at this stage. Coming up, more music for you. Thanks to everyone listening on our Jacaranda FM app as well. We see you logging on. To all of you with your questions, so 084-850-0942. A South African representative, not just a businesswoman, but someone who is leading and bringing so much to our country. Stay with us because we're going to need you to motivate our business owners when we come back. We are talking not just MANCOSA Business Breakfast, we're talking legacy. We're talking about your biography and who you show up as. We're showing up as what do you say you are instead of people telling you who you are. We're showing up as women outside of Women's Month that are saying education is important and we can support each other. You know, ma'am, people are tired.
Yeah.
We are tired of the year that we've had, and it's not even October. And when I hear how passionate you are about not just education, but about learning, I'm learning so much today. In which environment, right, did you learn the most when you're looking back at your career, your accolades, parenting, leading organizations, leading a university? In which environment did you learn the most?
You know, I think I learned the most when I got to vets for my honors, and maybe the thing is not vets per se. It's being in a very diverse environment. It was the first time because I did my undergraduate degree at University of Bophuthatswana.
Yeah.
Where the majority of us were not just black, we were Tswanas. I remember that there were 5 Xhosa girls who came from Transkei, who all of us knew because they couldn't speak Setswana. But we didn't interact because there were so few. They interacted with their friends only. So Vets was the first place that I got to. Having grown up in Garangua, in Bophuthatswana, you know, going to a Bophutha church where there's Batswanas, I grew. And of course, I don't want to say growing up that way didn't give me, it endowed me with pride in being a Motswana. But once I got to Vets, I met different kinds of people. I met different races, different languages, I remember being shocked at the fact that they had meetings, toy meetings were at lunchtime. They were not at night like we did at Unibo. They were at nighttime, and the notices could be everywhere. They would be on the wall. They would be on the floor. I would be walking into the Great Hall, and I would see the notices of the meeting happening in this room or that room at lunchtime. Because, I mean, I went to vets in the early 90s. Okay, so it's like that diverse background, that diverse environment, not background, environment. That's where I learned the most. That's where I learned to own my story. Because first of all, I saw people owning their story, but I could talk to them, like say to my friend, but Mel, how do you, and she said, your story is powerful too. You can tell it. And then I remember one day she helping me write a chatty resume. We were applying for scholarship. And she said, tell them. It's your chatty resume, so it's your story. You went to to 7 different schools in 12 years, Khethi. That's huge. You had to relate with different people every 2 years or every 1 year, because I never stayed in one school for more than 2 years. And I didn't think it's something with whatever. And she said, Khethi, we stayed in one school. I went to only 2 schools in all my life. You've done more. Of course, all the 7 different schools in my 12 years of education were all in Botswana. We're all with Botswanas from different areas. Okay? But she says it's a different context. You have to make new friends. You have to acclimatize. That says a lot about you. And you coped. You passed. You never failed. You got good results. Look where you are. And so I think I grew more then. And of course I say vets gave me, my academic career was made at vets, I say, because of course I got the best mentoring at vets. That's where I decided I want to be an academic, But besides that, it's this mingling with children from rich families, wealthy families, Jewish families, different cultures, Muslim, all sorts of people that I had to say, okay, this is who I am.
I understand.
And I understand. And I like you, you are my friend, and you're Jewish, and we like each other. So we visit one another, we do whatever, but this is who I am. I can't change who I am, and I'm going to own it.
Own it. It's so amazing that even today, right, diversity teaches us so much. We are all so different. I look at our beautiful listeners that are showing up at Jacaranda FM's Workzone. In ons iets in elke, there's something different in each and every one of us to love and like.
Yeah.
Prof, I want to keep you here for the entire day, but we need a vote, a word of inspiration, especially to our business owners, right? Some of them are driving at the moment, others are playing us in their practices, and some of them don't have access to education. But then I want to rely on the stat that you shared this morning, that 60% of our education does not come from the classroom. No. And it's so powerful that this is one of the messages that you'll be sharing at the MANCOSA Business Breakfast with Jacaranda FM. If you just tuned in, Prof. Mamokgethi Phakeng, businesswoman and former VC of UCT, is joining us in studio. What's your word? If I was Mel saying, Khethi, share one thing with our listeners, what can they take home with them before I play the music?
I'm so enthusiastic and optimistic about life, and I want to share that. Every day you have is an opportunity. Every day. Don't lose it. Don't lose it by being sad on that day, because it's not coming back. The day is not coming back. And here's the thing about opportunity. Opportunities are never perfect. Opportunities, you can shape it a little bit. That's why we don't create them ourselves. The opportunities come. So I see every day as an opportunity, and I want to encourage everyone. Never lose a day sitting, complaining, crying, being negative, being whatever. Even when things are bad, know that there is power in you. Each one of us have got power in us. And we've had moments of power in our lives. We're just not good at keeping them. So learn to keep your moments of power safe. Moments when you were powerful, when you're strong, when you're good, when you're achiever, keep them safe, so that on a day when it's down and you want to give it away to complaining, to being sad, to whatever, draw on them so that you never lose a day. You shouldn't lose a day. Entrepreneurs, things are rough. It can be, entrepreneurship is talked about as if it's sexy,
if it's fancy.
It just happens as long as you have a dream. Dream need capital, dream need energy, dream need positivity,
motivation,
and innovation. They need collaborators often, and you got to run with the dream. So just keep going. There's a good reason you're going through what you're going through today. It's for you, not against you.
It's for you, not against you. I want to add one more thing. So Prof is sitting here in our studio and I say to her, but I've got your time now, don't you need to be somewhere? And what did you say?
Oh, I work for myself. So what else do you want? I scheduled the whole hour for you. I knew you might not need me for an hour, and I said, an hour with Elana. That's what I'm doing today.
Well, I enjoyed my hour with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Workzone on Jacaranda FM. We can't wait to pour into you and to take from you at the MANCOSA Jacaranda FM Business Breakfast. Thanks for your time and joining us. And I can assure you that you've helped someone today.
Thank you, Elana. What a pleasure to spend an hour with you. Thank you.
I want you to stay. Don't go. Don't leave me. Prof. Mamokgethi Phakeng, businesswoman and former VC of UCT, Jacaranda FM. This one's called Baby Baby.
I know it.
Do you know this one?
Yes.
By Amy Grant.
Yes, I know Amy Grant. I know. Amy Grant is so my age.
So wait, Doctor, you must say Amy Grant on Jacaranda FM. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Go.
Amy Grant on Jacaranda FM.
Jacaranda FM.